Hi, I'm Case Lowe, co-host of the Open the Voice Gate podcast. The one question I'm constantly asked when it comes to Dragon Gate is how do I get into the promotion? Well, stop asking and start listening to the Open the Voice Gate podcast, released every Wednesday on the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. For exclusive news and show reviews, look no further than the leader in Dragon Gate coverage, Open the Voice Gate.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J Cast. I am Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. It is Wednesday, 9th of April, 2025. This is episode 357. It's a great week for Joel.
Yeah.
There's so many good things to talk about. I don't know where to start. We've got Shenmue winning a BAFTA for the most influential video game of all time.
Wow.
We've got Arsenal destroying Real Madrid, European Cup holders, 3-0.
Bing.
First leg of our quarterfinal. And I just started playing Vampire Survivors, which is great. And I'm almost tempted to monetize the first two and do some sort of Patreon bonus episodes about those. I might get on some fellow Shenmue enjoyers and Arsenal appreciators to wax lyrical about the former two. But I texted you after a few games of Vampire Survivors, and I thought, Damon would like this. And you're already a fan.
Yeah, absolutely am. It's on the Steam Deck, brother. Yeah, it's a great game. It's simple in the sense of you're not like, oh, you need to press A, B, shoulder button, stand on one leg. It's simple. You move. You don't even have to fucking fire anything.
There's no buttons.
No.
It's incredible.
You literally just move your character. That's it. That's all you can do. Yet, it's so fun. It is heart pounding a little bit, right? It's got a little, how the fuck am I going to get out of this thing? But it's, it's 8-bitty, dare I say, but it's so much fun. Like I love doing. This is my thing. My thing. I like going right up to a fucking ghoul and just like one step to the left and then pew, boop, right, fake him out and then bammo, right in the fucking skull. Love that. I love it.
Give me some tips. Like, I need some sort of early game strategies. What good weapons, good combinations, characters.
Yep. Okay.
Strategies.
I like the. I think everybody but the stupid cleric. Like, I think the cleric stinks, but everybody else is okay. So I don't really necessarily have a preference on the character I use. But here's the key. The problem is that in the beginning it starts small. There's plenty of room. You can fucking move. And you start off with like one weapon, right? So whatever weapon you start off with, just when you get your first bonus, so you kill these fucking ghouls, right? And they turn to little crystals or little gems that you pick up, and the more you get, you level up, bonus up, whatever. You want to, whatever weapon you have, double it. So you'll have an option when you get to your bonus. If you have that weapon already, whatever you do, double it. If you don't, pick one that you like and then double that next time. Because you want to start getting more opportunities to do things. So as an example, if you have a knife, you're chucking a knife and makes that sound. And you double it. Now you got 2. And then you double that, you got 4. So now you're kind of knocking them dead. You're ahead of the game a little bit in the sense of the ghouls don't reproduce or swarm at the levels of you leveling up, right? So that's tip number 1. Number 2, I like something. I like. You got to think of damage. So in this game, you have this axe that falls from the sky that wipes out a bunch, and then you have like a boomerang one that will just kind of ping pong off of a bunch of ghouls. You double that. Now you got 2 out there. Now you got 4 out there, right? So it's just and you're knocking shit. So that's like your your range weapons, we'll call it, right? And then you want to get something that's close to you, right? Because once again, I talk about swarms. There's like it like turns into like the entire fucking screen or ghouls after you, and you're like, what the fuck? How am I ever going to get out of this? Well, you need range, and you need something near you. So there's like a Bible or like a garlic clove.
I like the garlic. Garlic's my favorite.
That is a good one, isn't it?
You get this like force field around you that just melts.
Correct.
The lower level stuff, but then when that it didn't last. Like I was playing the second level, the library, and I got to like the last 30 seconds. It was like 29 minutes in,
right?
And just that final swarm, I couldn't hold up.
Couldn't hold them up. Yeah. You need something close to you so that you can. So the move is you have enough shit like kind of floating around you as like a shield, so that you could just run and bulldoze through just to some open space, just to get some fucking breath, right? And then turkey is the kind of like Streets of Rage. A turkey is like your power up. So
floor chicken. It's called floor chicken, isn't it?
I think it is. Correct. Yes, I think it is. You're correct. So yeah, you obviously you want to hit the little monuments because they turn into trophies, which turn into treasure, which helps you level up. It's such a fun game. And again, the concept is simple. You just don't get touched by the ghouls. But it's so many layers of it that it's so much fun. I've played it for like I don't play again my Steam Deck as often as I'd like, to be quite honest with you. I have a lot of other interests. They're occupying my time. But when I do, I swear to you, I always play the game. I always play the game. That and there's this racing game, but it's like Demolition Derby. That's fun. I like the Demolition Derby. I love a Demolition Derby. I've never seen one live. I would love to see a Demolition Derby live. But
is that the sort of classic PlayStation 1 game? It was like 96 or something.
I don't think
so.
No, it's pretty like the graphics are pretty modern.
Okay.
I forget what it's called. I'll look it up. I'll see if I can find it. But they have like multiple dirt tracks and regular racing tracks, and then these crazy fucking tracks that cross each other. So, you're doing 200 miles an hour, and you're trying to get across that intersection of where everybody else is going across, and it's a little harrowing. But yeah, I'm into it. The Vampire Slayer, man, that's pretty fucking cool. That you mentioned that, and I don't have a lot of games. I have Batman. I have a lot of Batman games. And then the emulation, I have it on there too. So I have all the fucking emulators. But of real games, I have that racing game, Batman. I'm trying to think what else I have like this booking sim. I think it's like Pro Wrestling Sim. It's called, where you can download different eras of wrestling and then book from there. I kind of like that. It's kind of fun. I got to be in the mood for it though. I haven't played it in a while.
That sounds cool. So you could sort of start from the glory era of New Japan, kind of load up.
Yeah, or before then, and see what you might do differently, or take like a territory back in the day and see if you can beat McMahon, or you could start today and be like, okay, I'm going to be fucking DDT, and I'm going to have the entire roster of DDT as it is right now. And then you can release people, re-sign people, the whole 9 yards. It's pretty cool. It's pretty in-depth, actually. It's a little bit of a time suck. And I just didn't have time a lot of times. So a lot of times I just want a quick hit of video game. And I can't really, devote 2 hours to fucking playing a video game. So there you go. You got to get
That's
that.
the beauty of Vampire Survivors, isn't it? It's such a little snack, isn't it? Oh, just one more. Oh, just one more. Oh no, it's the middle of the night.
I swear to God, yes. It'd be like Cheryl's like, I'm going to bed. I don't know about you. I'm going to bed. I'm like, all right, just trying to just give me 2 seconds. Fucking playing. Yeah, it's very addictive. It's very addictive. I might have to play tonight. I might have to bust it out tonight. Is there a way we can? What do they call it? Co-op? Like we can play online together?
That's a great question. We could be streamers. We could set up a Twitch account.
Come on! How great! That's a $10
YouTube
figure.
gamers.
I'll have my little bunny ears on, like a cute little girl. I'm playing.
Next, we can start selling us used bathwater.
I remember hearing that story. I remember that young lady making some money off of some used bathwater. Do you think it was real? Like, do you think she actually went through with it and filled up a tub and got into it, or she just like turned on her faucet and was like, "To get this, I'm not going to know the difference."
That's a great question, Damon, but one that we just don't have time to discuss on this episode of the Super J Cast.
All right, very good. Sorry. All right. I don't want to get anybody. This is not a troubling conversation, is it? Did you buy?
Okay, if it was me, I would sell the genuine bathwater. I didn't, but I like having a bath, and I'm sure if she likes having a bath, as a lot of people do, why not use the real thing? It's not exactly a great imposition to have a lovely bath.
Like there's somebody like, how they verify like grades of cards. And
they're sending it off to the labs.
Right. It's verified human DNA in this water. Yeah. Fuck Christ. What a world we live in. Man, we were just talking about stuff getting on and we were like getting all fucking sad on each other. And then you get this. What a just a strange world we live in, that people would pay money for bathwater. And people would be willing to sell it. It's a wonderful world we live in. We live in a world where there's New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's what we
And, Damon, you know what people should be spending their money on? Not bathwater.
We know that.
They should be spending their money on the Super J-Cast Patreon.
Boom, boom.
Because if you were a member of our $5 tier, you would have been getting some delicious, succulent, juicy pastrami this week. I would drop in information about Jeff Cobb, some really interesting stuff about TJP, some stuff about the contract situations, some merchandise stuff, some stuff about Naito. So that's $5. That's what that gets you. $10, you would have got live access to myself and John Carroll recording an episode of Wrestling Omakase as we discussed Sakura Genesis and Junior Genesis. John was there live, so you would have been able to listen to that being live streamed as we recorded it on the day. And there's also some bonus audio I've put up this week of myself and Fraser Japan talking about the recently announced Grade 1 Climax schedule and the tours and the different venues being used. So we could touch on that briefly here, but Fraser, obviously, is a guy who has been to most, if not all of these venues, was able to offer some really interesting analysis and insight into that tour. So again, if you're not on board already, $10 a month, that's nothing, isn't it? That's the cost of 2 coffees. We are worth more than that. So, as I always say, get your fucking wallets out and enjoy, because there's good stuff up there and more to come.
Yeah, and different and interesting things. And again, live like literally right after the show is over, Joel's hopping on with John. Again, he was in the front row. You can go back and watch the show. You'll see him and his partner having a great time, smiling and laughing and enjoying a show. And then getting G1 building information and just fun facts. I mean, what else do you want if you're a New Japan Pro Wrestling fan? I think. Hey, I heard about Jeff Cobb giving the I think he, a little veiled comments, but it sounds like he was yelling at us a little bit. Well, listen.
Well, we'll get there. But I'm very excited to talk about Jeff Cobb.
Good, because I'm into it. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right, where do you want to go first, sir?
Well, let's touch on this G1 thing. So I don't know if you have seen the lineup, but I would say the headlines there are a lot of venues that we would typically go to on this G1 tour. We're not going to for a variety of reasons. Some of these buildings are closed, some are being refurbished, and some they've just chosen not to do. So there's no Ryogoku, no Sumo Hall, no Edion Arena in Osaka, because that's a refurbishing thing. No Zebbia Arena, no Dolphins Arena. So yeah, a lot of those are because the venues are not able to be used this year, but that's an interesting one. The 2 final shows will be taking place at the Ariake Arena, and that's a large venue, so that's 12,000. So that's an interesting question in and of itself, why New Japan have chosen to go with Ariake Arena over Sumo Hall. Ariake Arena is larger, so Sumo Hall sort of caps out about, 9,000? So perhaps they have something big in mind for those final 2 shows. Who knows? And also the fact that there are no Osaka shows on the weekend, which is an interesting little quirk in the timetabling. And the 2 Korakuen Hall shows have been split this time. Usually they're back-to-back, but this time we've got one towards the end of the tour, and the other one will be the penultimate show before we have the doubleheader at the Ariake Arena. So that would be the show, if they're following the same format as last year, that would be your 2 playoff matches where it would be the second and third place from A block and B block facing each other to see who goes through to the semi-finals. So having that at Korakuen Hall this year. So yeah, any sort of big, anything that sort of stood out to you from the G1 timetables?
I to be honest, my first reaction was a little bit disappointed in the sense that, I don't know, there is something to be said about running in Ryogoku and, I don't know, having, I don't know, that be a home base for G1. Maybe that's just, something that I'm used to, or maybe just something that I want to have. But yeah, I'm not sure if, I don't know if that's a scheduling thing, or again, as you explained, if that's we have big plans. We have some cards up our sleeve. I will say that I hope they have some cards up their sleeve, because we're jumping from, like you said, around 9 to a 12. That's significant, and that the optics of that is, we don't want empty seats. We don't want that. So it's exciting. I like the fact that they're pushing hard. I mean, we got a world champion that can draw still, so that's good. Yeah, and I liked. I did like Korakuen leading up to, being the setup for those shows. So, because again, I don't think there's a building that can match that energy. I know Osaka might be on that list as well, which again, no weekend shows. I felt like they got slated a little bit, but yeah, it was a little weird. I don't know. I there's a part of me that says, well, they really scaled down, but they really didn't scale down because of the aggressiveness of the finals. And again, I don't know if that's scheduling, or which has to be a logistical nightmare. Let's be honest here. Trying to, you have this idea for a pro wrestling promotion, and you got to get all these buildings to kind of fall in line with the tour to not kill the guys that are in the fucking tournament. You got to kind of make them somewhat close geographically. So, yeah, it's while I was disappointed by some, and again, I wasn't like I lost sleep, I was excited by the prospect of, maybe they do have something up their sleeve for these final 2 nights.
And also an interesting little tidbit, not quite related to New Japan Pro Wrestling, but our old friend Michael Craven joining the Rising Fighting Federation.
That's right, Dan.
So I'm going to read this from this is from Justin Barrasso, who says, familiar faces returning to Japanese combat sports. Former New Japan Pro Wrestling executive Michael Craven accepted a new role with Rising Fighting Federation, the top MMA promotion in Japan. Craven's tenure with New Japan oversaw a highly successful period, which included a record-setting year in 2019 that saw the company become the first Japanese combat sports entity to tour 3 countries in a single year. Craven was heavily involved in the creation and promotion of these landmark events, with New York's Madison Square Garden serving as a particular highlight for New Japan. Why did they ever let this guy go, Damon? He's some kind of
savant
combat sports genius, isn't he?
Wow, you would think. Hey, look, I'm willing. Here's what I'm willing to do. I'm willing to extend an olive branch. Are you willing to extend an olive branch to Michael Craven?
Let's get him on the show, Michael. If you're listening, we would love to have you on. It will be on the Patreon. Make no mistake. But,
make no mistake.
I did particularly enjoy. Do you remember when there was a New Japan official podcast?
I do. The 3 episodes. He was really a fucking. That guy was just meant for radio. He was so entertaining. Oh,
when
God,
Chris Chart was like, "So, what have you enjoyed so far from Best of the Super Juniors, Michael?" And he was like, "I don't know what that is, but let's talk about something else."
Oh, what? Those were the days, man. Those were the fucking days. I'll tell you. Yeah, that podcast. They tried. It's hard, isn't it? Especially if you're working for a company, you gotta Watch your P's and Q's, as we found out. That would be funny. Listen, if Punk can show up in WWE and stranger things have fucking happened, right? In the world of pro wrestling, that'd be fun. I would be willing to do that. I'd be willing to have a conversation with good old Michael Craven. So, Michael, if you're listening, probably not, but if you are, we're extending that. Here's what I do know. I know people that know him listen to this show. So maybe we can make that work. But you got to reach out to us. We ain't reaching out to you. we got to peacock somehow. All right, so let's see what we can do. No promises, people. No promises, kids. But that might be a fun show where he fucking yells at us and threatens us. We'll have Dan on too.
We want Dan versus Michael Craven, no holds barred fight in Rising in Tokyo Dome.
I'm putting my money on fucking Dan every day of the week. Every day, I'll fucking that the mortgage, everything. Unless Michael comes out with House of Torture, then all bets are fucking off at that point. Who knows what?
Now we're talking. It writes itself, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. Come on, let's sell out. Let's sell
me
out.
And you doing a run in to help Dan?
Oh, walk in. I ain't running shit. I ain't running anything. We've got beer in there. I might run, but yeah, it'd be great. I'll put on the old Madonna Wayne gimmick for old time's sake. Let's do it. Let's fucking go. God damn, that'd be fun. We'll do it for charity too. We'll do it for charity, huh? All proceeds. Maybe some. We'll skim a little bit off the top.
I was going to say, speak for yourself. This is going straight in my pocket.
Right. Fuck those people with illness. That's what the U.S. government says anyway. Fuck those people. We'll give it to charity and all proceeds. So you can't say no because then you look like a Scrooge. Now you got it. Now you got to say yeah. Look at Dan. Dan's like, I'm not fighting anybody, dude. What the fuck is that? Dan's like, what are you putting me into? Oh, we love you, Dan. All right. Yep. So Michael Craven back in the mix. Good. Well, not the New Japan mix, but back in the biz, if you will. Good for him. Good for him.
Well done, Michael. It's always good to see people getting paid.
I like that.
Let's talk about the Best of Super Junior 32 entrance that has been revealed. We don't have blocks as of yet, but we have El Desperado, Master Wato, Hiromu Takahashi, Kushida, Ryusuke Taguchi, Yo, Kevin Knight, Ninja Mac, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Taiji Ishimori, Bushi, Francesco Akira, Clark Connors, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Dragon Dyer, and a as yet undisclosed CMLL entrant, Mao from DDT, and Nick Wayne representing All Elite Wrestling.
Kevin Knight not representing All Elite Wrestling.
No, so Kevin Knight, interestingly enough, now we discussed this last week, and correct me if I'm wrong, Damon, but we both said this doesn't necessarily change anything in his New Japan booking. Like he was pretty much independent anyway. He didn't. It's not like he was with New Japan for the whole calendar year, so there was nothing stopping him from still doing the exact same New Japan commitments as he was doing prior to that. And on all the graphics, it's the line mark. And he did an interview recently, and forgive me, I can't remember who it was with, but I'm trying to find it now.
Well, we know it wasn't the New Japan podcast, that's for sure.
It wasn't. So Kevin Knight reveals he has signed a dual contract with AEW New Japan. And the quote here says, New Japan has nothing to worry about. I'm not going anywhere. As I got the AEW graphic, I inked a deal with New Japan as well. New Japan got a deal with me for another year or so. I'm doing both. Best of both worlds. So there we go. There's nothing to worry about. Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's smooth as silk. That's good. Hey, listen, the guy's making some money. That's positive. And
he was speaking to Adrian Hernandez of Unlikely. I think it's very important to give the credit there.
I agree. Great job, Adrian. Like I know who Adrian is, but good job, Adrian. Yeah, Kevin Knight making some bucks. I like the fact that there, at least in some way, there's a more than just a handshake and a verbal agreement. I like that. get to see more of him. But yeah, we did talk about that last week where we did not.
Like walk into on the phone to the New Japan people, like, what, I mean, I've signed a contract with AW. Can I get a contract with you guys as well? And they're like, contract?
What? What? Right. Yeah. What is this? What is this? I don't know what this is. You mean we can legally? Yes. Yeah, no, it's good. But again, we talked about that last week where we did not expect that to be strange. Did you giggle when you saw Bushi's name? Because I was like, I forgot he was even a member of New Japan Wrestling roster, really.
Yeah, I was sort of wondering whether we would have guys like Taguchi and Kushida. Those were two that I thought might have been on the chopping block.
Kushida, I thought would be in. Taguchi, I was a little surprised. Bushi,
I'm not saying that I don't think they should be in it, but I thought if they're going to be making room for new people, and I think Nick Wayne is an interesting acquisition. I've heard good things about him, so I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm surprised and disappointed that there's no Titan.
As of yet, yep.
Yep. I mean, he could be the CMLL guy. I don't know who that could be. Could be Templario, who I think is announced as El Desperado's next junior heavyweight challenger in an as yet undisclosed time and venue. But yeah, that was a weird one, no Titan. And I suppose we should discuss the scuttlebutt with TJP having allegedly turned down a spot in Best of the Super Juniors. The rumours that we're hearing are that he only wants to be a heavyweight now.
Yeah. Well, I want to have a 7-foot dick. There's a lot of things I want.
Well, he's looking at guys like Drilla Maloney getting promoted to heavyweight and saying, why is he a heavyweight? We're the same. Look at us. Okay. He was a junior, now he's moved to heavyweight. I also want to do that. Why can't I do that as well?
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know how to tell him. I don't know how to tell him.
I can kind of see where his frustration comes from. Because this is a guy who went through. He was in that the WWE Cruiserweight Classic, and he was wrestling amongst the likes of Kota Ibushi, who went on to become New Japan World Champion. Zack Sabre Jr. gone on to become New Japan Heavyweight Champion. So he's thinking, well, it's surely my turn. This is how it works. You do your time in the junior division, then you become heavyweight and end up being world champion. Yes, that's how it works. No?
Maybe for Trent Beretta. I've said for many years, and I'm in TJP's camp, court, whatever, side when it comes to, sometimes it is a little silly that there's this hardline junior heavyweight, and we don't really kind of dance outside of that. But that is what it is. It's like, that's not a surprise. That shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. And even though everywhere else, you might be wrestling what would be considered a heavyweight on other shows and stuff like that, and the line definitely is blurred. It is, as the old folks would say, is what it is. We know this. It doesn't. You don't just graduate, and there are some physical requirements that have to occur. Now, if you would like to step on a scale, and if you would like to stand in front of a little kitty growth chart, then we could do that. We'll have that discussion. And if he,
I think the Aswang mask adds on several pounds in weight, which could be the difference.
It could make the difference. I say put rocks in your pants. That's what I would recommend. Just big boulders.
It's a shame, right? Because I think he's so incredibly valuable to the roster as mainly a junior tag guy. Like, he's excellent at that, one of the best in the world, and also as an occasional singles junior guy for exactly like a tournament like Best of the Super Juniors. I could have seen a lot of upside in having him perhaps make it to the latter stages of Best of the Super Juniors. I don't know, people might balk at that, but to me, I thought he had a really good role in the company. But, if he wants to bet on himself and thinks he can do better, then who are we to doubt him, Damon?
Here's the thing. I don't think he can't, right? But that's just the way New Japan is.
They're not interested. The company have no interest in heavyweight TJP.
I don't think they do. But that is not. Look, he knows as well as everybody listening to this show that is the quickest path to bigger matches and more money. I mean, let's be truthful. That's really what this is about. Hey, have a conversation with Kushida. All right, that's the best I can tell you. He'll give you the scoop of what life is like when you don't have what they're looking for when it comes to a heavyweight. And that. I think he's one of the best wrestlers in the company. I think that as a tag wrestler, he's outstanding. As a singles, again, sometimes it's we could find little holes, but okay, no big deal. But it is what it is. So I can't help anyone there. I don't have any advice. You got to do you, but you also kind of know the lay of the land there. So, whom I'm preaching to the choir at this point.
So yeah, I think on the whole, it's a very solid best of the Super Juniors lineup, and I think we're in for a lovely tournament as always. But one thing I'm surprised about, and I will use this to segue into the next discussion, which would be the Road to Sakura Genesis Junior Genesis at Korakuen Hall, Friday, April 4th. And I'm going to skip straight to the semi-main event, which was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, where Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles defeated Robbie X and Taiji Ishimori. Robbie Eagles pinned Robbie X after 17 minutes, 40 seconds. And we previewed this, and I admitted that I wasn't a huge Robbie X fan, but he really won me over here. Good. I thought this whole match was a really good showcase for Robbie X and helped him to get over with that Korakuen Hall crowd. There are still some things that he did which were terrible. There were like some really clunky sequences that I'm sure sounded like a good idea in his head, and Robbie Eagle should have probably been like, no, we're not doing that. That's ridiculous. And then when they actually did it, it was like, oh, no, don't. Just some really sort of convoluted stuff that might pass for the Brit Rest morons, but when you're in Korakuen Hall, you've got to do better than that. But those little things aside, I thought I could see the green shoots there. I could see the promise. From everything that I've heard, he came in with a great attitude, like really good to work with, really positive. And I thought, okay, well, this match is a showcase for him, get him over with the fans, put him in best in the Super Juniors, and then he can kind of learn more of the New Japan style. So I was quite surprised to see him not in the best of the Super Juniors list. Not that I was like frothing at the mouth to see more Robbie X, but I thought that's what the intention of this match was. I thought, it's here to get him over so we can put him in best of the Super Juniors. But I would not be averse to seeing more Robbie X. I think he needs to kind of iron out some of those worse Brit Rest tendencies and maybe sort of pack on a bit of muscle and then come back, and I'll be excited to see some more of him. And a curious exclusion from best of the Super Juniors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, listen, one, I think this is a body company, Joel, so he'll pack on the pounds. Don't worry about that. So we're good there. I'm kidding. Second, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that he won you over, because I thought he did really well. Again, maybe trying to do too much, but okay. I mean, I'm not going to fault you for trying to do everything you can to make it special. I was surprised. I'll tell you flat out that I thought I missed it. I rewinded the promo video because I thought I missed them. I thought I missed a couple people, to be quite frank, but two that I did miss, quite honestly. The other one I did not. It was not there. So yeah, I did think that was a shock. Maybe it's a scheduling thing, a conflict of dates, all that, and maybe again it's a thing where I can't dedicate 3 weeks to be in Japan. I just can't do it that time of year or whatever the case. Hey, listen, not for nothing. No, the dates don't align. My joke will stink. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the joke. But yes, I was shocked by his absence. But again, maybe it's a scheduling thing. I thought the match was good, though. But maybe it was good.
Very good, yeah. And I'm happy to see Ichiban Sweet Boys retain.
Me too.
Because I think they're an excellent team. And excited to see what's next for them.
We got that wrong. I think I got that one wrong for the title swap. I think a lot of our predictions were wrong, but that's okay. We'll talk about that.
The main event of this show was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship hardcore match. El Desperado defeating Clark Connors 37 minutes 53 seconds by Pincho Loco. Very long match, but I'm glad they did it. I think if had they tried to squeeze this in on the Sakura Genesis show the following night, then they wouldn't have had the chance to shine this much, and it didn't reach the violent heights of the Barb Sasaki crazy fest match between Despi and Jun Kasai and Masashi Takeda, but that's an extremely high bar. That's correct. Trying to compare with two of the greatest deathmatch wrestlers of all time. So I don't think anyone thought it was going to be that level, and I thought it was a really good effort. They did some pretty gnarly stuff down the stretch, some very big bumps off aprons and tables and stuff that were suitably nasty and lived up to my expectations. And just think we've really got something with Clark Connors here. There are not a huge amount of foreign junior heavyweight wrestlers to get behind. So I suppose it's him and Francesco Akira at this point. It'll be interesting. Well, I feel like Robbie Eagles has kind of had his moment. And I'm not saying that I don't think he should ever be in the junior heavyweight picture again. I think he should because he's great. But in terms of looking to the future, I'm not putting the gun to my head. Would I say, yeah, Robbie's definitely going to have another junior singles run with that belt? I don't know if I would. But Clark Connors, a lot of upside with him. Having come through the LA dojo and starting to build that. Well, I think he has built that connection with the crowd there. I think they're into him. I think the Japanese fans love themselves a bit, Clark Connors. And I was almost thinking as this was going on, maybe they should just belt him up. Let's go with it. Let's have Clark Connors as junior champion. But it definitely has improved his cachet with the fans and with the company. And what I thought was a really fun match.
I liked it. I will say that I thought that there were times where I was like, this is a long 30-something minutes. They probably could have cut a lot of this out, right? This probably could have been a really fucking wonderful 20 minutes. Don't you think?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, 37 minutes is a very long time, and I'm not sure they did enough to justify that the entirety of it. But then again, when it's the main event of a Korakuen Hall show, I can forgive them that sort of self-indulgence.
Okay, that's fair. I think Clark Connors being in a faction that does seem to have the pulse of New Japan, and the fans, they're hooked. So again, guilty by association, but even he's doing it on his own as well. So I think he's got. I like his. I want to say I like his look and I like his aura, but I don't think those are the right words I'm looking for. Because I do feel it is a little bit different than the rest of the crew. Again, he's still an obnoxious kind of Westerner or foreigner, but it is a little bit of a different spin. Like I said, I think my biggest... I appreciate what they did. I wish they would have squeezed it into a smaller bag. Because I think 37 minutes. There were times where I was just like, this is going on a little bit. But yeah, I mean, those type of matches... Also, I will say this too. I don't know if I'm as big a fan of these type of hardcore matches. Because here's what winds up happening, at least for me anyway. I just wind up waiting for the next big car crash in the match. And
sure.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm doing. And it's I'm just waiting for, I'm not really kind of absorbing what's actually going on. Walking brawls or whatever. And then it's big table spot or big whatever spot. And it's I kind of wind up doing that. And it's the lull because I know I'm waiting for the big spot, the big car crash. That kind of takes me out a little bit. So I'm not always the biggest fan of these type of matches, but it was what it was. It was good, a little long, and again, I'm not the biggest fan of the matches, but for what it was good. Yeah.
And then Sakura Genesis the next day at Ryogoku Sumo Hall, we had an attendance of 6,640, which is quite a nice, healthy number compared to previous show. So the last show at Ryogoku was King of Pro Wrestling last year, which was the Zack versus Naito main event, if I'm not mistaken, and that did 400 fans fewer than this. That did 6,211. And comparing it with other Sakura Genesises in recent history, so last year's Sakura Genesis did 8 fewer, so that was 6,632. That was Tsuji versus Naito. And then 2023 Sakura Genesis did about just under, over 100 fewer than this, so 6,510. And that was, who was that? It was the 2023 Sakura Genesis. Who won the 2023 New Japan Cup? Was that the Sanada reign?
The one previous to Zack.
So was that him, Sanada beating Okada? 2023 Sakura Genesis. I'm going to have to look this up.
Go to the Google machine.
It was. Yeah, Sanada beating Okada. So it did a stronger number than Sanada versus Okada.
So what you're trying to tell me is John Carroll bought 400 tickets.
No, what I'm trying to say is David Finlay is a bigger draw than Kazuchika Okada.
Wow. Look at that.
Numbers don't lie.
I know, right? The numbers don't lie. I like to think that our boy HG has had something to do with that. So again, I'm once again, let's not get too carried away with ups or downs or whatever one individual show. But if they got to be feeling good anytime that there's more tickets sold than last year. I don't care what anybody fucking says. If you're working for that company and you're in that office and you fucking take that train ride, that Monday morning is going to be a little bit easier to swallow than, if it were 400 less. Let's put it that way.
So we started off kickoff match, Katsuya Murashima defeating Daiki Nagai, 8 minutes 13 seconds by Boston Crab. I've shown my appreciation for Murashima. I think he has really distinguished himself in recent weeks, ever since he had that interaction with Tomohiro Ishii. I like his whole aesthetic, the pudding bowl haircut and his very sort of stocky physique. And I could see this being the green shoots of a long-term sort of generational rivalry between these two guys. And I think both will end up as junior heavyweight. So I could see this being an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match many times in the future. I think you can sort of see it now of Daiki Nagai being a war dog. He seems to be sort of heavily aligned with them already. And Murashima, who gives a shit what faction he lands in? But the point is, I think there's the sort of framework here for a really good rivalry between the two. And I think that's intentional that they gave them this spot to have these two young lions face off on the kickoff match of a big show like this. I think that shows that they've got faith in the two of them.
It definitely does. Where do you think, I know people like listeners to this show like to throw out the question. I know you said juniors for both of them. I kind of think, I don't know. I think that he actually still have some growing to do. I wouldn't be surprised if they we wind up looking at like a mini stocky fire plug kind of meatball, but maybe he fills out a little bit more, or not fills out, but like kind of grows and gets a little bit.
He's 172 centimeters tall.
Okay, that means
he's quite short.
Yeah, that's true. We just fucking talked about TJP. Yeah, you might be right. Unless he could get that surgery where they cut their shins and then stretch it. No, we can't. We haven't gotten that far with science yet. All right. Well,
I suppose that everyone's always going to say, "What about Ishii? He's about that height." So I can say, I think I would, if I was Murashima, I would rather go down the route of being a unique power junior than being a short junior heavyweight.
Okay,
but I suppose if he does sort of continue bulking up as he has done, that the options are open to him for both. But I think to start off with junior heavyweight would be the path for him.
But I will say that there will be a job opening there for that role relatively soon. Just saying.
This is a reference to something. I'm too slow on the uptake.
That's all right. I'm thinking Ishii might not, he's definitely on his waning years, right?
Oh, right. Yes. I
So,
see.
There'll be a open slot there, and you could fit right in. But I would think, but I would probably say both of them will start as juniors, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah. Very nice. Then the first match was a special singles match with Yuya Uemura defeating Sanada in 10 minutes and 26 seconds via armbar. I suppose the biggest talking point coming out of this is Sanada's shoes, which I think was an Astro Boy tribute. I mean, that's...
No, kids wear those, dude. I'm not...
Really? I thought it was to do with Astro Boy's birthday.
No, those are legitimate sneakers that kids wear. I fuck with you not. Because I saw... Don't ask me how I know, but I know. Yes. I don't know who makes them, but they're actual fucking things people wear. Like humans outside of the circus and pro wrestling. Yes. And McDonald's cosplay. Yes. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he was wearing this fucking... And I will say this. Chris was fucking on point. He was like, that is the worst decision. And those shoes. He was like, I'm not even talking about the shoes. So he was good. He was on point.
Oh, because Astro Boy's birthday is April the 7th. Okay. So I thought it was an early tribute to that. It would be his 22nd birthday. Maybe he just felt just a big fan of Astro Boy.
Those are real things. Those things, like if you look them, I don't know what they're called. Trust me, but they're real things. They are real things. Maybe somebody. Are there any youngsters in the chat right now that can confirm this? Please don't make me look like a fool. I'm hip Damon. I know what's going on in the world today with the youth. Shut me up. All right. Yeah. Surprised by the finish?
Yeah, anyway.
I was not surprised.
Okay, a little bit, because I was fearful when it was booked that I thought, Sanada's going to get his win back. But it wasn't. And I thought the match was actually quite good.
Me too.
And if this is Sanada's role moving forward to help elevate the next generation, I'm absolutely fine with that. I think that's what he should be doing. I think we've kicked the tires on him as a top guy, and it didn't work. And that's fine. Worth a try. Now, back in the mid-cards. And, we saw him come out later on and betray the War Dogs, and he's joined House of Torture. And I think if you're a Sanada hater, that's probably a good thing, because I think he's probably going to be behind Evil, maybe even behind Ren Narita at this point. So, yeah, I'm not sort of seeing his, yet again, another defection from him as a sign that the company are really behind this guy, because, it's House of Torture, and I think he's I would see him positioned below Evil, at least in that group. But it was a good effort here against Yuya. I thought Yuya looked really good. And he's as a launching point for Yuya to go and challenge Tsuji. He's challenging Tsuji for the white belt now, isn't he? So, this was a perfectly fine opener. I liked it.
Yep. Again, we were talking about this last week when we previewed how, these singles matches usually are a good spot for somebody to walk out and challenge, and that's exactly what had happened. I love the fact that you're confident that he's staying with House of Torture, that they're not going to move him again.
Well, he's kind of running out of places to go to, isn't he? So, next month he betrays House of Torture to join United Empire, and then he betrays them to join back to LIJ. Are we going to come full circle here? I mean, I did say on Twitter that it's thrilling to see him join House of Torture, because we can finally get that Evil Sanada heavyweight tag team that we have always wanted.
Let's fucking go. Boring and boringer. Sounds great. All right. Yeah. I mean, good win. What was the match to?
Yeah. Second match was the NJPW World TV Championship match, where Great Khan defeated El Phantasmo by countout after 11 minutes and 9 seconds. I
can't even give him a pinfall.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing I've said before. The whole gimmick of this TV championship thing is your 15-minute time limit, which should have your wrestlers working at a higher pace with more of a sense of urgency because you've got to get your business done earlier. But kind of leaning in on too many gimmicks with this. There was a couple of gimmick matches with Jeff Cobb. Didn't they do a Falls Count Anywhere or no count out match or something? And the fact that this was done via count out makes me think there might be some kind of gimmick rematch at some point. And we know Great-O-Khan loves a gimmick with his singles title runs, as his background in KOPW suggests, and his real revitalization stuff. So he's just too inconsistent. We've spoken about it before. We have seen matches where Okan has been great, but we've seen matches where he's silly, and we've also seen matches where he's bad. So you never know which Great-O-Khan is going to turn up on any given day. So I cannot sit here with any real sincerity and say I'm excited for him being TV champion because you don't know what sort of performance you're going to get from him. I wish he would just sort of keep to the premise of the title and have faster paced matches where the time limit is a prominent feature of the match and is announced by the ring announcer, and they've got to work a bit faster, and that's kind of playing into the finish rather than fucking about with countouts, which to me betrays a lack of confidence in him as a wrestler, that he feels he's got to rely on that to create drama rather than the time limit.
Right. Yeah. I guess the positive of the count out is the fact that it does keep you on your toes a little bit when it comes to count outs, I guess. I'm worried, truth be told. I'm a little worried because the last thing I would want to see done to a title that I've really enjoyed the concept and a lot of the matches because of that sense of urgency that you described and the idea of the quick sprint and get the business done early and all that. I just worry that, okay, we're not drifting into KOPW territory now. Like, we're not going to have wacky stipulation matches, and we're not going to have, even if we're just kind of skimming the surface of it, I'm not there for it. I don't want any part of it. I kind of like the idea of this title being what I kind of hoped it would have stayed, what I described. So I will say that I do have concerns with that. Maybe they are unfounded. I'm just going by history, and I'm going by what it seems kind of floats this guy's boat. So fingers crossed. We'll see. I think that the idea of 15 minutes is good for Okan at this point because, again, you don't know what you're going to get. And I think the longer the match goes, the more opportunity for a struggle of kind of getting to the finish line rears its head. So 15 minutes sound good to me. But yeah, I do worry about that idea of we're going to kind of get silly with it. And I really don't want silliness with this.
Third match was the Hiroshi Tanahashi Final Road Connection, where Shota Umino defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi in 12 minutes 47 seconds.
This was good.
Via second chapter. This was what? Sorry, I missed that, Damon.
It was good.
It was good. Yeah, I've heard. Some people have been critical of it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was one of the better Tanahashi matches on his retirement tour.
Yep.
And I think a lot of credit for that has to go to Shota Umino. And I mean, there's two separate discussions to be had about Shota Umino, but I'll stick a pin in that for now. I just talk about Tanahashi. I thought, really good performance from him. There wasn't much of the sloppiness and the sort of lack of mobility that we've seen in prior matches. And they did some ambitious stuff. This wasn't just sort of phoning it in and playing the hits. I thought they both worked really hard, and there were some pretty intense sequences and big bumps and stuff. I have said before that I'm a little bit concerned about whether Tanahashi can keep this up for the entire year, because he is working a very heavy schedule with all these singles matches, and we know there are a lot more to come. He's got Takeshita this weekend. I'm just sort of worried, can he physically keep up with that? I'm scared about him breaking down and doing himself a serious injury, which would completely fuck up the whole point of the retirement thing. If he's hurt and he cannot perform at the Tokyo Dome next year, then we're in trouble. And I personally would be very cross because I'm planning to go to that show. So
right.
There's that. But yeah, good performance anyway. And yeah, Shota Umino, who I don't know, do we talk about him now, or do we talk about him within the context of the main event finishing? Because there's Shota Umino, the wrestler, the in-ring performer, who I think has actually improved visibly and noticeably over the last couple of months, and the booking of Shota Umino. So do we talk about that now, or do we talk about it after the main event?
I mean, we can dip our toes in and kind of get our feet wet with it when it comes to the match, and then we can save the rest. But
let's do it now. I think
Okay.
it's no point talking about him and then coming back to talking about him later. So I think he wins this match, then he's bowing to Tanahashi, and then backstage he's saying he wants to be the leader of Hontai.
Right. Well,
And then
there's a problem
he
there.
comes out after the main event, and the fans are not having it. Very loud boos again. They do not want him in that spot.
No.
And I think it's Chris Sampson said, if you take all the backstage comments that Shota Umino has made, even over the last couple of months, and watch them back to back, they're completely incoherent. He's sort of lurching from one motivation to the next in a way that there's no narrative thread to it. There's nothing where you can trace anything. Oh, yeah, I can see where he's moved from point A to point B emotionally and in terms of his motivations. And it just smacks to me of a guy who is the camel, the horse designed by committee, where he's got probably about 10 different people in his ear saying, what you need to do is this. I know how to fix you. I know how to make you into a star. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try this? And a lot of that is ultimately going to come back to Red Shoes, who is his father and presumably his biggest advocate in the office. But to me, it's just a case of that they don't know what they're doing with him. Like, there's clearly a unified vision here where the company want him to be a top guy, but it's just incoherent. And him going through this redemption angle where he lost 2 matches, right? He lost a
Thank you.
Wrestle Kingdom main event, which a lot of great wrestlers have lost.
Yep.
That is not a signifier of catastrophic failure by any metric.
Thank you.
And then he lost a match to Great Okan.
Right.
And since then, he made it all the way to the New Japan Cup final, narrowly defeated in that. And then we got David Finlay slapping him, saying, "Oh, you got to do things my way." And everyone's saying, "Oh, he's going to turn heel. He's going to join the War Dogs, or he's going to make his own faction." But now, and then he's rejecting Tanahashi's handshake. And then I can kind of see a narrative thread there. I think, okay, so he's turning, he's going to sort of reject everyone and forge his own path. But now he's bowing to Tanahashi and saying he wants to be leader of Hontai, and Goto's pan-picking him and his challenger, and I just think, this is just very confusing. And there's a lot of people who think, oh no, this is all part of the plan. It's the pivot. There's going to be the big heel turn in Chicago. He's going to do it there and
Why there?
have a new faction or whatever. But I don't believe it. It just feels like he just looks confused. He's been pulled in a million different directions, and I just think this is a committee that doesn't really know what it's doing and don't know how to make Shota Umino the star that they believe he is. Because when he's saying, I'm going to be the next leader of Hontai, and he's bowing to Tanahashi and then coming up and getting rejected by the audience, that is a problem. You cannot have this guy in his current form as a top babyface star when the fans are rejecting him. That is not going to work.
Joel, he comes across as a complete fucking crybaby. He comes across as a child, and let me explain. He's naming another person who has had 2 shots at the world title in 4 months. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you crying about? You're crying that the fans are not having it. Like, that's what this is all about. It's about the fans saying, not for me, brother. Not for me, mate. Not for me. And they're trying to come up with creative ways, and I put that in air quotes, to kind of get around the fact that the guy ain't it. And it's somewhat, I don't want to say confusing, but it's like, okay, well, like, what is the motivation? Like, what exactly is the motivation? What is he upset about? What is he sad about? You fucking headlined the Tokyo Dome, and then a mere 4 months later, you're going to Chicago. Help me understand this. Help me understand why this guy is a sourpuss. And I'll tell you exactly what I think. It's because of the fucking fans. It's just amazing to me that the narrative is, I'm a crybaby, you should like me. That's exactly what it is. And
what is likable about this guy?
Right.
It feels like, if you're trying to make a cake, the one thing that you must not do is open the oven and take it out early, because that will ruin it.
Thank you.
That's what it feels like. It feels like, I think, had they carried on and taken their time and shown a bit of patience with what they were doing currently with this sort of rebuild of him, and not succumb to the temptation of immediately putting him back in for a world title shot,
and he's the only
they might have got somewhere.
And he's the only. This is a company that they would have it on their tombstone. We took our time. Like, there's nothing that they don't take their time over. We are the most impatient fucks in the world. We beg this company, please put the rocket to this person. Do something with this person. Try something with this person. We are impatient as fuck. And we're saying, whoa, what the fuck? Hold the brakes here. Pump the brakes here. It's unbelievable. Name me another guy. And that's where all that, well, that must be pulling some strings, because name me another fucking pro wrestler that's had the opportunities that this clown has. I'd be hard pressed to find it. That's the problem. That is the problem. Is that, one, he comes across as a crybaby. Two, he really hasn't suffered anything. Three, he's gotten more opportunities than anyone. Well, what the fuck else do we want? Great. He had a great match with David Finlay. Outstanding. Right? And especially those last 5 minutes where he showed a little bit of sandpaper, a little bit of grit. Fantastic. Follows that up with a pretty solid match with Hiroshi Tanahashi. Again, we're pre-baked to have the emotional attachment of it. It is amazing how when you have an emotional attachment to something, you do tend to get more into it. And they were able to carve out a really great match. And now, here we are. We're challenging for the big boy belt. He's saying he wants to be the leader of Hontai. We've got, and again, this might be a great big storyline and fantastic. Here we go. Here we are. But
and I hope it is. I hope we're both proven wrong, that they do something at Windy City Right. We're like, okay, now it all makes sense. They've tied all those threads together and it's genius. But like, my worry with him is he's clearly a wrestler who is very reliant on confidence in able to.
He ain't it.
And him, they do such a good job with him and building back that goodwill with the fans, where they were into him with the David Finlay match, and they showed appreciation to him with this Tanahashi match. But now they're booing him again, and he left you could see him like, oh fuck, not this again.
Because of the spot.
And that is going to affect him.
Yes.
He's a confidence guy. And then constantly opening that oven to say, oh, is the cake ready yet? Is the cake ready yet? You're going to ruin the cake.
Yep. You nailed it. That is, I couldn't come up with a better fucking analogy, dude. That's it. That's it. He is an unbaked cake. You're nailed it.
This weekend, only at Macy's, it's our lowest prices of spring. How low? Diamond rings, pendants, and earrings, only $399, originally $1,500. Ninja blenders, now $89.99. And $395 men's designer suits, only $99.99. So if you're wondering why you should shop Macy's lowest prices sale, well, the name pretty much says it all. It's our lowest prices for one weekend only. Starts tomorrow at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
That's exactly what it is.
And they're serving up slices of this unbaked cake to the fans, saying, try the lovely cake, it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's our best one yet. And it's all all doughy inside. No.
That's fantastic.
This is not good cake.
It's not good cake. This is not good cake. Yeah, that's the problem. And you're right. It's I don't even think they're booing him. They're booing the fact that, like, they're just shoving unbaked cake down your throat. fantastic.
Yeah, that is it. And I've said it before with him. This is the issue where you can feel the invisible hand of the booker moving the parts, and it ruins the suspension of disbelief that these are sort of independently thinking characters with their own motivations in an environment where the cream rises to the top and it's just prize fighters fighting against each other for motivations of winning titles. But then when this sort of stuff happens, you think, what? He's challenging again? It just makes you think of the booking rather than the wrestlers and the stories.
Right. 1,000%. That's where I think the majority of the issues lie. And I think that's where the majority of the people that have issues, that's where it lies. Can I have another piece of chocolate cake? Uncooked. No, thank you.
Do you give me a percentage chance that something happens with him this weekend where there's some sort of turn and we're like, oh, okay, yes, now we were wrong?
I mean, I think eventually there will be a turn.
See, I don't know if there is. Everyone's saying there will be, and I think there should be. And I hope there is. And again, I would love it if I can come back on this show next week or in the future and say, yeah, oh, they did it brilliantly. I was wrong. But it just feels like a really ham-fisted attempt to shove this guy down our throats as the next babyface.
I don't think this is the right show to do it. Do you?
Yeah, and that's a curious one, isn't it? Because one, I would like to applaud them for putting on a main event for the IWGP World Title between two Japanese wrestlers, because we've been saying this for a while, that these US shows should be more authentically New Japan, not the sort of watered down strong version. So that's good in that sense, but it's just the wrong guy at the wrong time. And I don't know what the logic is here. Like, do they think the US fans like him because of his proximity to Jon Moxley, that they're more likely to cheer him than the Japanese fans are?
Maybe.
Or is there going to be some sort of turn that they think is going to be better executed in front of the American fans? I don't know, because if you want fans to boo him, then hello, you got them right there in Japan. There are lots of people prepared to boo him. So the cynic in me thinks like, oh, well, we want to give him another title shot. Let's do it in front of the Yankoid imbeciles because they quite like him, and they'll probably cheer him because they cheered him last time against Jack Perry.
He needs to come out in the motorcycle. Us Americans, we really like motorcycles, man. We like Evel Knievel, Fonz. Come on, let's lean into it. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know.
Eat a burger with a bald eagle on his shoulder.
Yes. He has a bandana like on his head, the American flag bandana, a little denim. He needs the Mox jacket. Definitely needs that. Needs to come out to a little country music. Yeah. Well, this is Chicago. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Everybody in Chicago will boo him out of the fucking building, actually. Road Warrior, minus Road Warrior-esque stuff. Yeah, I just thought it was like if they're going to do shit, I don't know. While I do, again, I do applaud the fact that they're giving those fans a nice show. Let's be honest, it's turning into a pretty decent show for fans wanting to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling in the States. They're kind of getting a real deal show, which is very nice, very pleasing. But yeah, I don't know why they would make, if they're going to do an angle here, it doesn't. I don't recommend it, but we'll see what happens.
Fourth match was the never open weight 6-man tag team championship match, where the champions Sho, Yujiro, and Ren Narita successfully defending against the War Dogs team of Taiji Ishimori, Driller Maloney, and Gabe Kidd. Sho pinned Driller after 7 minutes 30 seconds. After Sanada did a run in and hit
Honky Tonk
Driller
Man
with a guitar strike into a pin. Yeah.
Honky Tonk Man, he's the Honky Tonk Man. Come on, that's a great song. I'm cool. I'm cocky. I'm bad. Sonata.
Do you remember him in the 2001 Royal Rumble?
I mean, maybe. Why?
Kane hit him over the head with a guitar.
Oh, did he?
I like that Royal Rumble. That's one of my favourite ones. Because that was just the year when I was getting into wrestling and they showed it on terrestrial TV on Channel 4. Mm. And I've recorded it on VHS tape. So that's when you take Honky Tonk Man, that's what it makes me think of.
I think my vision of is him pinning Ricky Steamboat and me being like, what the fuck? Because Steamboat just beat Savage at WrestleMania 3. And you're just like, what the fuck are they thinking? And just, I don't know, I'm never a big Honky Tonk fan, but I did like his stupid dance. My brother used to do it really well. He used to be able to do the honky tonk man dance really well. It would make me laugh. He would pop me at dinner doing a honky tonk man dance. Yeah, no. Sonata, look, we talked about him. Do we have to talk about him again?
No, do you want anything you want to say about this never openweight 6-man tag team championship match?
You want the honest to God truth? I feel like the one, I can't believe in the year 2025 we're talking about House of Torture with members such as Sho and Yujiro.
Yujiro Takahashi is a title holder.
What would you say Yujiro's gimmick is?
Less sexy Sanada.
Right, just like a homeless person. I really feel like he's just like just a crumb bum. Yeah, just like he's not a pimp anymore, is he? Yeah, just what are we doing? I will say this: I'm quickly becoming not a fan of this feud because I think there's a lot of talented people that are being wasted. So we'll see. But like this House of Torture, War Dogs thing. I'm happy when this is over. To be quite truthful.
See, they're going to do the dog pound steel cage match thing again.
Okay,
but that worked because when it was War Dogs versus United Empire, it was a load of guys who were willing to destroy their bodies to prove themselves. It was young, for the most part, young, hungry up and comers, guys like Gabe Kidd, David Finlay, Francesco Akira, Henare, Alex Coughlin, Gabe Kidd, such and such. I don't know, I may have repeated some of those names, but that was the whole point. That's what made it work. I cannot imagine Sanada or Yujiro or Evil or Sho being willing to do what it takes to make that kind of match work.
We're gonna walk and brawl inside a cage is what we're gonna do, and do the old rake against the cage. Just stand there and just move your head back and forth. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of that nonsense. Not looking forward to that. I
just want to see, I want to be a fly on the wall when they lay the match out, where the War Dogs come in with a list of suggested spots, and Yujiro and Evil and Sanada, and I was like, nope, not doing that. Nope,
no way, mate. No way.
Right, and then Kanemaru, we're going to throw you off the cage, and you're going to go through.
Yeah, I can see that one. I will say this, though. There are a lot of fucking nutters in that promotion. I mean, I know that you mentioned, I forget, was it you that mentioned the fucking Tanahashi Kenta match in hindsight? Boy, oh boy.
Crikey.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. So I can't, I'm giggling because at the preposterous notion of any of those people doing anything nutty, but there is that common thread throughout everybody in that fucking promotion where they might do something completely stupid and shave many years off their careers, but I'm gonna lean toward the probably not.
I just want the most low effort lineup for 5-on-5 for that team. So on the War Dog side, I want Chase Owens, Ishimori,
Fale.
Returning Jake Lee, Fale, and then on the other side, I want Kanemaru, Evil, Yujiro. Sanada Sho.
Fuck me. Wow. Grab a chin lock, kids. Grab a hold. Fuck it. Let's go. Oh, boy. Oh, you forgot. How about Dick Togo? Do you think Dick Togo?
Dick Togo will actually, he would actually do those sorts of spots. Do you remember him doing his elbow drop through the table with Wrestle Kingdom?
Oh, fuck me. We're in for a treat. Buckle up, kids. Oh, my lordy low. Yeah, I can't wait for this fucking feud to be over. It just doesn't have a lot of hope. I mean, there are people in this feud that I really like that I feel like there's better things for them. So, hard pass for me. Thanks.
Then the fifth match was the Never Openweight Championship match with Konosuke Takeshita defeating Ryohei Oiwa in 12 minutes 54 seconds with a Raging Fire.
12 minutes. Oh, I wish this would have gone another 12, to be quite frankly honest with you. I thought this match was really good. I thought this match was pretty fucking great, actually. I dug it. I think the critics and the people who were worried I think they don't have anything to worry about. I don't think I personally I didn't really have an issue with this match.
How about the result? So,
Well,
John was expressing some reservations about Oiwa's gimmick now basically being a guy who turns up and challenges for singles title and then loses, which I say I don't have a problem with because he's still basically still a freshly returned young lion in my eyes anyway. So I don't think he should be winning any singles titles at this point, and I don't think him losing against guys like Gay Kid or Takeshita is going to hurt his credibility.
Me neither. And my biggest concern was, okay, can you have a match of really solid quality and caliber? And I think we got that. So that was honestly my biggest concern. The loss, I'm not. That doesn't bother me that much because again, you can go through in the past 10 years and you could probably put that label on a lot of people, and it's just when it's time they'll belt them up. I'm not worried about that.
The sixth match was the IWGP Tag Championship match where Callum Newman and Jeff Cobb won the tag titles from Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito. It is Callum Newman, somewhat surprisingly to some, pinned Tetsuya Naito after 10 minutes 45 seconds following a double team attack. So the match itself I thought was really good, more than the sum of its parts, and a tricky assignment for Callum Newman to basically be the base for an ailing Tetsuya Naito. But between the two of them, I thought they executed everything that they were going for really well. Like no major ugly botches. And I thought they did a good job here and sort of paying off to some extent this ongoing rivalry, if you can call it that, between Naito and Callum Newman. So Callum Newman finally getting one up and winning these tag titles. So there's that. A bit of a curious decision because I thought that this Hiromu Naito team was a nice way of keeping Naito out of the singles scene and letting him take it easy in relative terms and also be a draw. Like both of these guys are draws to the company, so I thought they would be holding these tag titles for longer. And they may well win them back. They probably will. And the other element here to discuss is Jeff Cobb, who I wish I cared about anything half as much as Jeff Cobb seems to think we care about whether or not he's leaving the company.
Right.
We like Jeff Cobb. Most of the fans I've spoken to appreciate what he's done for New Japan. Wouldn't mind seeing him stay, but would be not going to begrudge him if he does leave. Wish him well. Good wrestler. Probably time to move on. But he just seems to have this bizarre fixation that he's sort of waging war against internet marks or something. Like, does he think it's the late 90s or something? I don't know what's going on in his head or why he thinks this is such a contentious issue.
Right.
When, Jeff, no one really cares, mate. We like you. You're a good wrestler, but just this is kind of embarrassing because there's two directions this could go in, and both of them are equally funny and will make him look equally stupid. The first being that he's deliberately fed misinformation to Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful and said, I'm already on WWE's internal roster, and deceived him to surprise, to what end, I don't know, to surprise fans who are reading a news report about him leaving and, actually, he's not leaving, he's staying. Or the other option, which is that information is actually true, which is what I've been led to believe, and that sometime after Don Taku he'll be gone, in which case he will have proved all the imaginary internet people correct in the end, because he has left the company. No. So he just looks like a bit of a twat, doesn't he?
A little bit. Look, I didn't understand the idea that it was a big, I don't know. Wrestlers are weird, man. There are times where it's like, break down the walls, man. It's 2025. What are we doing? And then in the same breath, it's like, we can't let we got to kayfabe everything and pretend it's the fucking Carney. It's just silliness. I was actually
you leaked it, Jeff.
I know. Right. It wasn't like this came out of fucking thin air. I believe, right. So like, here's we'll leave it at this. How about this, Joel? Who gives a shit either way? Right? Great. You won the fucking tag belts. All right. I guess that means you're sticking around for a little bit. Well, okay, great.
Yes, because we all know the tag belts are
Right.
the most heavily protected and prestigious belts in New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you win those, that means you are locked in for years and years and years.
Yeah. You know who held those titles for a night? Me at Yano's bar. For one night, one drunken, fantastic night, I was fucking the IWGP Tag Team Champion by proxy.
Yeah, and I can look it up on Wikipedia. You are right here. You are listed as the 54th title holders for these championships.
And you know who was
in contract in sight?
And you know who can verify that? Frazier can verify that. He was there. And so, yes. So spare me the fucking drama. Thank you very much. Thank you.
What did you think of Callum Newman in this match?
Good. I'm glad they belted him up. I can't believe I used the term belted him up twice in one podcast. Because he needed something, that's for sure. Like we needed to do something because it felt like there was a slippery slope there. And again, we joke about it, but it is the tag title, so okay, cool. I thought he did well. I don't know. I'm really on the fence right now. I don't know. I think here's what it is. A lot of this is based off of me projecting potential. Because everyone I talk to, and I see a lot, but not maybe as much as other people. So I'm kind of somewhat taking a couple of valued opinions of a pro wrestler and saying, okay, I mean, if they see it, then I guess I got to be a little bit more patient, right? I don't know if I have seen it yet. I'm not 100% sold, and I really want to be. I'm not there yet. I don't know about you. I don't know about our listeners. I'm not there yet.
I would say this performance was more of a stock up than a stock down.
No doubt.
At the very least.
No doubt. But we are also talking about a young pro wrestler who probably still has a lot to learn under his belt to go. So again, I'm kind of thinking of this as, okay, this is a blue chip stock. This is a high draft pick, tons of potential. And maybe the road is a little bit longer than I am generally used to. And I just need to be a little bit more patient. This match did help, don't get me wrong, but I'm not solidly in the camp yet. I got to be honest.
Yeah, still very much a wait and see for me. I agree with everything you said. I've no problems with him being a tag champion. I mean, he's a tag champion.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. All right, seventh match was the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, where Yota Tsuji successfully defended against Evil, 21 minutes, 24 seconds via Gene Blaster. So a lot of shenanigans here. So first of all, the brother came out. I think his name is Shota Tsuji. So doing the kind of twin magic thing. I don't even know if they are twins, but yeah, that was funny. And then they did some actual wrestling, which was slow and boring. And then they did more of the shenanigans, which I found quite funny, where everyone was running in like sort of Keystone Cops and kicking each other in the balls and throwing and spitting things in Evil's face, which I found entertaining. And I was chuckling away and found it entertaining. But then also thinking, is this the second best match on the card? Like, come on, this is a big show. This is Sumo Hall. This is a new generation. We want to be putting our best foot forward. We can and should be doing better than this, especially with a guy like Yota Tsuji, who is just coming off the back of that really great match with Gabe Kidd, and yeah, just putting him in for the House of Torture shenanigans, which I'm sort of more sympathetic to than most, and I found it funny, but unworthy of this kind of spot.
Yep, second from the top, your second most important title. A lot of fucking nonsense going on. Again, there's time.
But I will say, sorry, again, apologies for interrupting you. The fans seem to like it for whatever that's worth. That's all.
And I think it's important. I do. And trust me, there were times where I, was like, oh, this is fucking crazy. A lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of moving, sliding doors. A lot of fucking hocus pocus. You echoed my thoughts exactly. Of this probably shouldn't be here, and I would prefer it not being in this particular spot. And it's amazing, even though the fans did seem vocal and were into it. The one thing that kind of just rung in my head is like, I don't know if Yota Tsuji has built up the history, the connection to get to be like a little bit more of a sympathetic baby face kind of guy. Like, I think the fans were definitely there for it to say, okay, yeah, we're rooting for you, beat these fucking pricks. But I think it means a lot more when, and again, I hate to use fucking Hiroshi Tanahashi, who is the ultimate, fucking face of the company, against a guy who, could be a little smug prick crybaby. I don't know if it's the same thing, but you could see how just having that history with the fans means a lot, and you can do less than what Yota Tsuji had to do in a very comparable spot. So, that being said, I didn't hate the match as much as you might think, but it wasn't the time nor the place. That's the one thing that kept ringing in my head.
Yeah, I think it was Tsuji saying like, "Oh, I'm going to bring back the LIJ evil." We don't want to see the LIJ evil. He's not a very good wrestler. Right. I think the bits in this match where he's actually trying to do wrestling and it's boring and bad is almost proof of concept why the House of Torture thing is good for him.
Right.
And I get that the company see value in him. He's a dojo guy. He does what he's told. He's very creative and committed to the gimmick. And I respect that to some extent. So maybe they just feel from time to time they need to have him in a prominent spot in order to keep that value at the level that they need it to be. I can certainly see that. But he's not very good. He cannot do that sort of tip-top New Japan main event style that everybody likes.
There's a big difference between 15 minutes of that, Joel, and near 30 minutes of that.
Yeah.
So.
But on the other hand, I did find it very funny when Shingo made the run in and made the save and was on the turnbuckle cheering to the crowd, going, "Hey, look, I saved the day," and then got punched in the dick. That was funny. I laughed at that.
Oh, listen.
He looked like an absolute fool.
Like a bumbling dork. There's nothing better than, again, there's nothing that'll make a guy laugh more than a fart just randomly thrown in and or a dick punch. Yep, two things that will just make a boy giggle. Like no one's business. All right,
but we're back on course because Tsuji versus Uemura for the white belt should be pretty great. Looking forward to that.
Yep. I mean, we're in a position right now where a lot of those youngsters that we have longed for to have prominent roles, like they're all getting shots at being in the spotlight. So. Yep, that'll be fun. Absolutely. And I think an even better match than what we saw here.
Yeah, they do this with Evil from time to time. They'll put him in a big spot at Sumo Hall, and then he'll go back down to the mid card. So I don't think there's necessarily any need to panic here. We're fine. No. Main event was the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Hirooki Goto defeating the challenger, David Finlay, in 24 minutes, 21 seconds, GTR. Yeah, very surprised by the result here because I thought it was Finlay's time and I think he's the best wrestler in the company. That's a controversial take, and I just thought it made sense for him to win the title at this point. I thought the momentum was building with him, and I thought that was the more interesting option for my personal taste. I thought there were some interesting stories to tell and some good challenges that they could have had lined up and then sort of built up a story with the the next sort of hot young babyface to be the guy to dethrone Finlay, sort of as they've done with the global title really effectively. I mean, to me, that was like the blueprint, the test run, giving him that white belt and him having all these great feuds with mid-card guys that really were quite heated and delivered way above expectations, and then finally having Tsuji being the one to dethrone him at Wrestle Kingdom. I thought, great, do that again, but with the world title on a higher level, on a bigger stage. And I thought that's where we were headed for this. So quite surprised to see Hirooki Goto win. Now, I can kind of see the logic in it. Narratively, it sort of makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you're telling a classic hero's tale, then the last we saw Goto and Finlay, it was Finlay humiliating Goto in front of his children, and this time he was able to finally vanquish him. So I think, maybe I was sort of examining it through the eyes of a Western fan, whereas for a home fan of New Japan, they are not treating Goto like a gold watch run. This is not like a sympathy champion for them. They fucking love this guy. They believe in him. The ticket sales are in his favor, and just the chanting when it's really passionate, like Goto. They believe in this guy. They love him. Like, he is representing and tapping into something that is really resonating with the domestic fan base at this moment. Both, as I said, with the ticket sales and with the atmosphere in the buildings, and you can sort of feel that passion as you get into the closing stretch of these matches where Goto's fighting back, and he was sort of did the first and the second and the third GTR, where I was just like, wow, okay, he's actually winning this. So not massively shocking. I mean, perhaps just sort of for me recalibrating my analysis of this as through the eyes of the domestic New Japan fan, not just me as a white boy wanting the white boys to win titles. But yeah, really good match. Definitely delivered. They didn't do too much with the children thing. They did it once, didn't they? So Finlay did a sort of boo-hoo motion at the children and then immediately got smashed through a table. So that worked. That was a nice sort of bit of sort of drama blowing up in his face. But for the most part, it was just a straight up hard-hitting wrestling match that was really good. So,
really good. Yeah, really good. I was shocked, to be truthful. I really thought this was a David Finlay night. But I'm going to throw a name at you of Jay White. And I thought of Jay White. And I thought of him. And not only did I think of Jay White, I thought of Jay White and Joel Aram in the sense of when we were in Cork and Hall and Dash. And, that night you were like, he's fucked. They're fucking giving him that title. It's carved in stone at this point. And he's really the one guy where they had it all lined up and it came to pass. And, there's also, I thought about, how much of a fucking slam dunk we all thought it was David Finlay's night and so forth. And he didn't win. And it reminded me of the night in the Tokyo Dome. Naito being so close, not winning. And everyone in that building thought he was winning. And even prior to that with Okada and Tanahashi and Okada, everyone in that fucking building thought Okada was winning. And yet here we are, him walking out in tears. They don't always do the thing that is staring them in the face. They tease it a little bit more. So maybe this is just history of New Japan Pro Wrestling doing what New Japan Pro Wrestling does. And they like to do those things where it's right there in front of them. Why wouldn't they? Of course he's going to win it. Oh, and he doesn't. Right? And lastly, I'll say this. I mean, I don't see how Hirooki Goto doesn't win Wrestler of the Year.
Well, I would say he's neck and neck with David Finlay at this point.
Right. I mean, he's right there. He's had great main events. He's a guy that, when you think about the history of New Japan and especially modern New Japan, and all the guys that are just completely banged up, Tanahashi, Naito, and even going with people who aren't even in the company anymore, Ibushi or, whomever. guys that even Kenny to a certain degree is pretty banged up. He could still go, but Hirooki Goto is a guy that was in the mix, but he doesn't seem like he's. I mean, age catches up with everybody. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't seem like a guy that is too fucking banged up.
I thought he was. There was a moment sort of during those the pandemic G1s where I thought, wow, this guy's circling the drain.
Right.
But I don't know if it's like the tag run has kind of breathed new life into him and he's healed up, whatever it is. But you are right, man. He's performing at a very high level. And like I said, this is not some sort of sympathetic gesture to have him as the world champion. Like, he's there on merit.
Yeah, no doubt. And he's delivering. And he's one of those guys that, again, you would think would be, put out to the fucking farm. That's not the case. It's he's making it work and making it happen. And he's certainly in no way, shape, or form, in that physical, I don't know, can he do it? Like, I don't think anybody's going into these matches thinking, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he could pull it off. I don't know, does he physically have it in the tank? But he fucking absolutely does. And maybe I can't listen. With all the fucking turmoil in this company and all the fucking craziness that has happened in the past 5-10 years, that they would be like, well, let's keep Goto in our back pocket just in case. I doubt that's the case. But
break Goto glass in case of emergency.
Right. Exactly. I can't imagine that being the case. Again, with everything that's going on in this company. It is amazing how they've now leaned on a guy who, we've said it a million times, that if it were a different era, he would be a top guy. But he just happened to be in the company at the same time when you had literally the greatest wrestlers on planet Earth on the roster. So yeah, maybe this is just, hey, you know what? Here's a guy that maybe doesn't have as many miles on the body of doing those type of matches. And again, we're not saying he's going to be champion throughout the year, but they see something. They see something in the sense of not like, oh, this guy, well, he didn't know he was talented and we didn't know he was a guy we can lean on. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that, they realize that maybe, hey, he's a guy that we can lean on more. And like, I think it's the proof's in the pudding here, in the sense of matches are still great. They feel like New Japan Pro Wrestling main events, and people are buying tickets. Like, as much as we like to fucking make fun of some of the decisions they make and some of the fucking harebrained ideas, and there's plenty to wag your finger at. There's still plenty of things that you can fucking praise this company. And they saw Hirooki Goto as a guy that, okay, maybe we missed the boat on that one. Maybe we, and when I say we, I mean collectively, thought, okay, he's a tag team wrestler, and let's leave it at that. No. And David Finlay will get his shot. Don't get me wrong.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, is there a chance that maybe they don't see him on the level that we do, that they see him as a foil for the top guys, but not a top guy himself?
No. I can't, honestly, I can't imagine that being the case. I really don't. And I do think David Finlay will get his opportunity and chance to be the top guy. But hey, not right now. You know what? I think his chances of being a champion, and being a champion that people will gravitate to and take even more seriously. Like, there's New Japan Pro Wrestling fans that are on the David Finlay bandwagon, but I don't know if you plop David Finlay in the middle of fucking, I hate to say it, an AEW show, because I think it's a piss poor barometer, but okay. Like, I don't think he's going to get the due respect, but I think losing and then kind of getting his way back in the mix might help his cause a little bit. We're already there, but okay, maybe.
Yeah, because it's interesting you bring that up, because he's not been cheating in any of these matches. He's been a dick, but he's not cheating.
Correct.
And he had been before, right? He's not doing any shillelagh shots. There's no interference or anything like that. And now that he is positioned against House of Torture, to me, could very well be a signifier that they are shifting him further towards the face end of that spectrum. And I'm not saying he's going to be going out kissing babies, but those seem like intentional choices to me. That maybe he, as we know, War Dogs seem like more of a tweener faction as it is, and Gabe Kidd is sort of a beloved babyface at this point. So, yeah, again, you don't put him against House of Torture expecting him to be booed, do you?
Correct. So what you're doing is that you're giving fans an opportunity to say, well, okay, it's two people that aren't good people against each other, but House of Torture are definitely the worst of the two. So we're going to root for War Dogs. Great. And, you already have Gabe Kidd, who we're already feeling really good about, right? Oh, and you already have Clark Connors in there that we're already feeling pretty good about. Oh, David Finlay, we already feel pretty good about. Let's really get behind him. So now they have that. So there's already the established thing of, okay, we're cheering for them. We can get behind these guys. So that when in a match where you don't really rely on the heel face dynamic in New Japan Pro Wrestling main events, you're kind of leaning on, okay, two fucking gladiators wanting it more. You can get behind that person. You can find that thing of, come on, fucking Dave, let's go. And that's what really makes New Japan Pro Wrestling main events special. That emotional fucking let's go, right? For both guys. Think of the greatest New Japan Pro Wrestling main events. There is always that element of you could easily root for both fucking guys, right? You just want a kick out and do another 3 minutes, right?
Well, that would be weird in the sense of leaving New Japan without a pure heel foreign main event guy.
Yeah, but even with AJ, would you consider AJ like? I know he was in a heel faction, mind you, right? And they were playing up being like fucking imbecile American and Westerners. I get that, but there are plenty of people that cheered AJ Styles in big matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like Bullet Club Kenny.
Yeah.
Stuff, we're looking like sort of Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Yeah.
Late 2016, early 2017.
I'm just saying, it's just a step in the right direction of getting fans acclimated to, okay, David Finlay's a serious guy. Let's and we can get behind him, right? Of course, they're going to be, and I put in air quotes, the baby faces in this feud. And that can carry over to a little bit, again, not kissing babies, but a little bit in the future as he goes for the title. And I think he will be a champion one day.
Okay, where are we going now? Let's do a Windy City Riot preview. So, do we have a finalised card for this?
You sighed. You were like, oh.
Yeah, I'm just refreshing the website. So, I'm also dealing with a situation here where Scrumpy has found a little plastic bag with a USB adapter in it, and he's meowing and he keeps biting it and then flinging it up into the air. Like, this is a brilliant toy for him. And it's quite annoying because his little bell is jingling and he's meowing. Yeah.
That's all right.
So I don't know what to do with that. And I've got his little USB adapter here and he keeps trying to bat it out of my hands. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to throw it on the other side of the room. And
not the cat. Don't throw the cat.
We're nearly done here. Not the cat, the USB adapter. And hope that it doesn't disrupt us too much. Right.
There you go.
Knock yourself out, Scrumpy. Not literally. So I'm looking at the card. I thought we had a finalised card for Windy City, right? But this doesn't look finalised. So I'm going to go to the news page.
Okay.
And let's try to find it.
No final.
Okay, here we go. Full card. Let's... do you want to go from the top down or the bottom up?
Bottom up. And I will give you my... Does this feel like a New Japan Pro Wrestling show? Go right ahead, please.
He's come right back over here. He's brought the adapter straight back to me. Like a dog. So apologies for the jingle bells. Right. So kickoff match is the NJPW Strong Survivor, Zane J versus CJ Tino. This is interesting in as much as I know for a fact that Zane J was in Japan recently. So I thought he might be making some sort of appearances and wrestling in, at the very least, dark matches or something. But it seems that wasn't the case. So I don't know why, but
I hate this
I
thing.
expect saying.
I really do. I hate it because there's no payoff. Wow, we get to open up a show again? Great. For $20. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, if at least if they'd let ZJ wrestle a couple of matches in Japan, this would have given real stakes to it, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Be like, if ZJ wants to get that call back and wrestle at Korakuen Hall again, he's going to have to defeat CJ Tino, or CJ Tino might take his spot and be the one building that connection with the domestic fans. But in not booking him for any matches in Japan, this match is meaningless.
Thank you. And again, if I'm the wrestler, just let's pretend this is a real thing. If I'm the wrestler, I'm like, oh, cool, I get to go again and open up a show that, well, I don't know if there's no opportunity for advancement here. I can't walk out of the curtain and challenge somebody for a belt. Oh, okay. This stinks. I don't want to win. Okay. Thank you.
First match is Tom Lawler against our openweight fave, TJP.
In the States.
No, I like the match on paper, but I just, everything with TJP now, I'm like, oh, this is unfortunate.
TJP versus Abdullah the Butcher.
What's Bob Sapp doing these days?
Yeah, let's get some. What's King? Oh, he passed away. King Kong Bundy is no longer with us. Why would I mention? New Jersey's own King Kong Bundy. Paulsboro, as a matter of fact, 10 minutes away from my house. On paper, it sounds so wacky that it just might work. But yeah.
I think it'll be a good match, like stylistically. I like it. I'm just, dare I say, intrigued by who's going to win because
TJP's winning.
I don't know. Yeah, it kind of feels like TJP saying, like, right, I will only wrestle on the show if you give me a heavyweight that I'm allowed to beat.
Right. You nailed it. Thank you. And I'm not saying that. Look, I don't want you to get some fucking direct message from TJP, but that's not the case. That never. We're not saying it did. We're joking, but yes, we're not joking. Okay.
Or if Tom Lawler wants to get in the DMs and tell me what's up as well, I'll take both sides of the story and make my own mind up.
That's right. I like that. Tom Lawler is a fan of us. So, yeah, he's probably not, but he says he is. Or did he say he is? I don't know. I forget. Yeah. Anyway.
Second match is the NJPW Strong Women's Championship number one contendership. Azumi against Mina Shirakawa. I'm a big fan of Azumi as a wrestler. Mina Shirakawa, I sort of get the gimmick. I don't think she is particularly amazing as a wrestler. She's fine. Mm-hmm. She's passable, but
number one contender.
Azumi was. Yeah.
I will say this: that the ladies usually they make the most of their 5 to 10 minutes. So I have confidence that the match will be good.
But Mina's already wrestled Mercedes Moné.
I know. It's
lost. So it is time to do Azumi versus Mercedes, which I think could be great. That would have a lot of potential. So I'm picking Azumi to win this one.
Yeah, fine. I think it does feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure somebody will, but it does feel like they just kind of just wash, rinse, repeat the same young ladies, doesn't it? It's not like they were building up new
yeah, I see. This is the problem, right? It might just be my own ignorance, but I'm sort of racking my brains thinking who has wrestled against whom already. Like, is these rematches? Like, what have we already seen here? What is the fresh matchup here?
Correct.
And I don't think we've seen Mercedes. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up Mercedes Moné on Cage Match.
Look at you.
See exactly who she's wrestled. Scrumpy, mate, what are we doing here?
We're chomping some USB.
He's had a very loud drink next to me, and now he's
got a Red Bull.
He's just trying to climb all over me. Oh, man. Okay, so I've got to scroll through all these American matches she's had.
And good luck.
So she's wrestled Mina Shirakawa.
Okay.
And she's wrestled Hazuki.
Okay.
Emi Sakura. Hikaru Shida.
All right.
Momo Watanabe. Oh, mate, what are we doing?
Wow,
Scrumpy, this is ridiculous.
On the microphone.
Headbutting the microphone. Yeah.
Say a couple words.
Put himself over. Yeah. She's wrestled Stephanie Vaquer. She's wrestled Azumi in the 3-way with Hazuki at Sakura Genesis 2023.
Right.
And she's wrestled Kairi. So she has not had, as far as if I'm correct here, she's not had a singles match with Azumi.
Okay. Then I'm full of shit then. Sounds like a little bit more diverse names than I can recall. So, good. Again.
You're just racist and sexist,
Yep,
David.
we know that. Right? According to, oh my God, I was reminded of a controversy that we had when from the Purecast days. Some French were upset at some comments I made about what was Tai Chi's
Miho Abe.
Yeah.
Can you? I'm literally trying to speak through my cat here. The cat's put his head in between my mouth and the microphone.
The microphone and the cat is right under the tail, Joel. Stick him out there. That's where
the problem is, Mally won't let him come into the bedroom until I've checked. Until I've checked him for ticks.
Oh,
because he's out and about. It is tick season.
Sure.
But now he's like he wants to sit on me. He doesn't care that there's a desk and a microphone and a laptop in the way. He's powering through it.
She loves her dad. All right, what's next? What's the next match? Power through. We've been talking for an hour and 50 minutes.
We've got the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. The Intergalactic Jet Setters Kevin Knight and Kushida versus World Class Wrecking Crew Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson. Let's belt up Kevin Knight.
Okay.
He's put pen to paper on his deal with New Japan. Let's give him some strong gold.
Right. It's not like the Wrecking Crew's ever going to be in Japan unless they fucking plop down their own money and can go. They can go to our meetup. Kid, you wouldn't want to go to that dumb thing. Yeah, there you go. I feel bad for them. They've what else do you want the poor guys to do? Just give them put them in fucking world tags, put them in something, give them throw them a fucking bone.
Can we start up with some sort of like GoFundMe to get them in World Tag League?
Right. Just show up.
If we as the fans will pay for their flights and travel arrangements,
hotel,
accommodation.
Just have them sit in the crowd for every show and have them not be acknowledged. That'd be terrible. Well, they kind of do that. They kind of do that for Strong now, so no big deal.
But maybe this whole thing is just like some sort of Ponzi scheme. It's pay to play.
Right. Exactly. Oh, we're fucking pricks. All right.
In all seriousness, I think this is you want to be capitalizing on the spotlight that Kevin Knight has had shone on him recently. He's had big showcase matches against Jay White and Will Ospreay in AEW, so it would make sense here to put the title on him.
1,000%. Yep, I'm full agreement.
Okay. Fourth match is the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship Iron Man match. Gabe Kidd versus Tomohiro Ishii. So they had a 30-minute draw with no decision rendered previously at Battle in the Valley. So now the most decisions rendered in the 30-minute period will settle the bout. And if they tie again, sudden death will mean they will go to as long as it takes.
Well, I mean, we're going sudden death, right? Why would you put the stipulation in if you aren't going to fall through?
Gabe Kidd should be beating Tomohiro Ishii in 30 minutes.
I agree. I mean, let's be honest here.
Should have beaten in the first.
Thank you. In 15 minutes. But who am I? I think it does go to the overtime, and Gabe pulls it out.
Fifth match is Rocky Romero and El Fantasmo.
I mean, really.
Rocky.
Go, Rocky.
You rascal.
You got the you just find just New Japan just find ways to put you in, huh? Oh, you're adorable.
Versus Naito and Titan. Look at Rocky booking himself to wrestle against Naito.
Come on.
High up on the card.
You gotta love it. I mean, seriously, let all kidding aside, you do have to respect this game, don't you? I mean, that's
absolutely
fantastic.
Teach me, my master.
Yeah, well, listen, he learned from the best. Fucking delirious. All right, well, I mean, look, Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to throw out one thing that
Uh-oh.
I'm scared of.
What?
I'm very scared of this. The Jersey Joe Gotch says, when do you see Gallows and Anderson coming in and how?
Ooh, wow, yeah.
Tell me you cannot see it where
Oh.
Kevin Knight and Kushida raise these strong tag belts
Yeah,
and are then attacked by
Good brothers.
Gallows and Anderson.
yeah. Good brothers. Oh boy, I forgot all about that. Yeah, they are available. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh God. Lord help me. And they're pals. Oh boy. Oh. Look. Please. Look. Rocky, if you're listening, or if anyone has any I have his email, or I think I have his cell phone. I think I texted him a couple times. Maybe I'll fire
So
off.
just send him an unsolicited direct message now saying, don't book the Good Brothers.
Right. Please.
Don't do it. I know you're thinking about it.
You want to.
Not allowed.
Not allowed. Please. Just spare us once. Oh, boy. Now I'm all fucking discombobulated because I feel like they're going to show up. Oh, fuck us. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Right, come on. Let's get through this. Sixth match, singles match, Zack Sabre Jr. versus David Finlay.
That should be pretty good. Let's be honest. That should be really good. Finlay wins.
Yeah, I think. Does he need the win? I think he might need the win. He probably needs the win more than Zack. But then again, he did beat Zack in the New Japan Cup already, so Zack could be getting his win back.
I'm trying to think of what would they do from a U.S. perspective. I still think you know how silly this is. This is a deciding factor. David Finlay's a member of Bullet Club.
Right. Okay. So you think he's winning because he's a Bullet Club?
Yeah,
player.
and
Okay.
we have dumb Americans going. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'll go with.
I think Zack is going to win here.
All right. I'll bet you $1.
Yep. And the seventh match is the Hiroshi Tanahashi Final Road Kinship. He's challenging Konosuke Takeshita for the... Is he challenging for the Never title?
I think so, right? Isn't he?
I don't know. It doesn't say anything about the Never title here.
Well, I hope
it just
so.
says Hiroshi Tanahashi last match in the USA Final Road. I'm a little bit nervous about this.
Sure.
Like, can he keep up
He can't.
with a guy like Takeshita? Because I've heard wrestlers in much better physical shape than Hiroshi Tanahashi is currently saying that they were struggling to keep up with Takeshita, and they found that quite intimidating, the prospect of keeping up with him. So I think Takeshita's going to have to slow it down.
Yep.
And take a leaf out of Shota Umino's book. That was the blueprint, right? That set what a good Tanahashi match could look like. But yeah, I'm worried if they try and do anything too dynamic that it's all going to go wrong. Obviously, I expect Takeshita to win, but
Yeah.
a little bit anxious about this one.
Me too. Again, you have probably the smartest pro wrestler in the game. Again,
What, we're talking about Rocky Romero again?
correct, right?
Rocky's going to come out afterwards saying, Tanahashi, I know you said this is your last match. One more.
Yeah. Again, I'll never count out Hiroshi Tanahashi physically. Again, we're going to have to dial it down a little bit, but I think this would be good. But I definitely think Tanahashi's looking at the lights on this one.
Main event, Hirooki Goto defending his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Shota Umino. I'm looking at the official preview on the website here, and it says nothing about the booing. Like, there is no hint of the Shota Umino possible turn, no breadcrumbs, nothing. He says, after his win over Hiroshi Tanahashi early in the night, Umino reasserted his allegiance with Hontai but vowed to bring strength to the unit at its fore. Goto said that he plans to be a needed barrier to elevate the younger wrestlers in New Japan, and that with Umino he wants to show America that Japanese strong style is the best wrestling in the world. This match quality will be in no doubt, but who will leave with the championship gold? So they're not hinting at anything that would suggest a turn here.
Scale of 1 to 10 on it's definitely happening without question. 1 being no chance. Do you think there's shenanigans, heel turn, anything of that nature in this match?
I'm at a 2.
Yeah, me too. I don't think there's going to be any wackiness. I legit think it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, and that's that. And thanks for coming. Good night. I really don't think there's going to be craziness.
Who does that? I mean, they want Shota to be a top guy.
Right.
Why are they having him continually lose? Like, is there a chance?
They're not built.
Okay, you give me 1 to 10. Is Shota winning the title here?
4. Again, if they're not seriously, let's all kidding aside. If they're not going to give it to fucking David Finlay, they're going to give it to fucking Shota now?
But then why have him lose a title match
because
at Wrestle Kingdom and then lose the New Japan Cup final and then lose another title challenge? Like, what are we actually doing here?
Well, we got to
It's
call
2 very bad options. Either he wins the world title, which would be very bad, or he loses another title match, which I think is going to be bad for him anyway.
We're all in the hands of Kikuchi at this point, my man. we just got to go along for the ride. Because I seriously, there is. I don't even want to say it out loud because I don't want to fucking misalign the moons. There's no way he's winning that fucking title in Chicago, right?
I can't rule it out.
That would be crazy. Seriously, that would be all the momentum they have with Goto, all the positive feedback, all the everything, and they're going to give it to a guy who, okay, he might be improving in the ring a little bit and might be kind of finding himself a little bit. They're going to give him the big boy belt now.
And that might be why they're doing it in the States, because they're scared of doing it in front of the Japanese fans. So he's just going to exclusively wrestle in America because they're worried about the reception he's going to get.
I can't imagine. Well, here's the thing. I don't think he gets cheered in the States. I think if they switch that title, he would get booed out of the fucking building.
Yeah, that would be interesting. We'll find out, I guess.
We will find out. I swear to you, if we come back next week and we're talking about him winning that title, holy fuck, I'll lose my mind. My head will explode. I'm telling you, it'll be the wackiest show ever. I kind of hope he does win because it'll be a fun fucking show. That's for sure.
All right, look forward to that next week. See you then.
Hi, I'm Case Lowe, co-host of the Open the Voice Gate podcast. The one question I'm constantly asked when it comes to Dragon Gate is how do I get into the promotion? Well, stop asking and start listening to the Open the Voice Gate podcast, released every Wednesday on the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. For exclusive news and show reviews, look no further than the leader in Dragon Gate coverage, Open the Voice Gate.
This is your before and after story, where your first steps towards a new life-changing career begin. Southeastern College can take you there. We offer in-demand hybrid and online programs with hands-on training, led by in-field career professionals, and career services to put you on the path to a rewarding and fulfilling future. This is where your transformation begins. Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.